LinkedIn profile mini audit. Let's go. So today we're going to look at Tim's profile. I didn't mention this for any of the past profiles that I've audited, but this is a really good, clean profile URL. Y'all do not have those URLs with all the different numbers in them and the letters. It's just super messy. Don't get too creative with your URL. Just have it something very, very simple that's going to stay forever. All right, so first things first is the banner. So I am guessing that this is maybe a banner that was created by TaskDrive, the company that you serve. But if it's not, I would recommend making some changes. So first thing is social proof. I really like that. But my question is it that TaskDrive is featured in these companies or that you're featured in these companies? So that's something to consider for your LinkedIn profile. How much do you want to rep TaskDrive and how much do you want to rep yourself? And if you are going to rep both in different areas, be very, very clear about which areas are related to TaskDrive and which parts are repping you. So this is a really good example. The other thing is the value props. I don't know if this is me throwing shade on TaskDrive's value prop. I checked out the website and this is not on the homepage, which is good. But grow your sales pipeline feels vague. For who? What kind of roles, what kind of company, how am I growing my sales pipeline? Is it through lead generation? Is it through getting more efficient? Is it through training? What is going on here, right? So I think just getting a little bit of clarity will be super helpful. And also for the who, right? Like who specifically, what types of companies, what stage, what kind of size of teams, what kind of businesses, what kind of industry, stuff like that. Profile picture, very nice, bright color, slightly unusual green, which will stand out in the feed and search results, which is really good. And then I like the name, the Tim Tool Time Tim. I like that. It's funny. Alliteration stands out, piques curiosity. So this might actually get people to click on your profile more when they see you in the search results or the feed or stuff like that. So definitely a fan. So again, down to the pipeline, down to the headline. I grow sales pipelines and appointments with TaskDrive. So again, I'm missing the who. Who do you do this for? I'm guessing it's sales teams, but what kind of sales teams? Um, appointments. Is it sales meetings? And then with TaskDrive, I think not yet sure what TaskDrive is. So I think the how is missing for me here. And it might be good to just explain a little bit about what TaskDrive is, or maybe just have the value prop be a little more descriptive. Don't necessarily need to include the company name, but just this is a bit of a question mark for me. I like that you have the providing services section. Very good. Going to show up in more search results. LinkedIn is really pushing that these days, which is awesome. I do like that there's a link here to subscribe to Growth Letter. I do kind of wonder what the relation is between Growth Letter and TaskDrive and the featured in and your services. So might just be good to focus in on, are you trying to push for TaskDrive or are you trying to push for yourself? I do understand that the Growth Letter is probably related to what you do at TaskDrive. But yeah, so that's just something to consider. And uh, or maybe you want to kind of link to a specific issue of your growth letter. I always feel like getting people just to subscribe for the sake of subscribing to something is a bit of a hard sell. But yeah, that's just kind of something to test out potentially. All right, so moving down to the featured section, I like that you only have 3 things. Very good. I do wonder whether the second and the third item, maybe are competing with each other because one is growth letter, which is some kind of a, Substack newsletter, and this is a LinkedIn newsletter, is my understanding of frameworks that you share. I wonder if this kind of duplicate call to action is they're cannibalizing each other. It might be good just to prioritize one. Maybe you prioritize the LinkedIn newsletter because it's easier, less friction on LinkedIn. Something to consider there. Down to the about section. So I think the big thing for me here that's missing. So at the very top, I read, I grow sales pipelines. So I'm guessing that you help sales teams, but I'm getting a little bit lost here because, you're ready to scale your fast growing startup, but your mind buzzes with questions. All these questions: how do I find my dream team? What tech stack? How do I structure the company? How do we hit the next milestone? These questions are going to be very, very different depending on who the person is, right? Like, are they a marketing person, a customer success person, HR person? I'm guessing it's a salesperson, but even within sales teams, what kind of sales teams? How do I know as a salesperson that this LinkedIn profile speaks to me specifically? The don't panic section, I would recommend putting these three things in bullet points just because it feels more tangible, especially when there's numbers. These numbers get a little bit lost in this sentence here. It seems so unsuspecting, and then it ends with like a bunch of social proof. So I would almost just turn this into a bullet point list with those little green tick emojis or something, just to really kind of like show the results and draw the eye to, okay, 0 to 300K, less than 24 months, scaled to 30 million valuation. I would do a capital M just because this looks like 30 minutes, but the 30M is always something more recognizable, and I would put like a dollar sign in front of it, or a euro, whatever the currency is, just to kind of really draw that attention to that nominal monetary value. This part, again, I'm getting a little bit lost in terms of who the actual person that you're trying, like who is you, like what type of salesperson, and then this will all make a lot more sense. I like this part, very personable, a lot of nice icebreakers packed into here. So, I would definitely, I think that's actually how we connected. I was like, oh, you're Turkish or something like that. And like you lived in Barcelona or something. And so this is really great for icebreakers. Nice little personal story. I'd imagine if anyone else has gone through this kind of experience, they would connect with you, or maybe just like they're curious because they want to learn more about how you got to where you are, stuff like that. So I really like that little personal part. The other part about the about section is I think that you need, in fact, I know that you need a singular call to action. So you definitely want to have, and here I feel like the call to action is kind of buried in this section. So you have these different sections, education, coaching and advising, content, which makes sense. But you want to definitely separate out the call to action. I think, again, here there's the growth letter and the LinkedIn newsletter for frameworks. I would say pick one to promote, or make it very clear that these are the two things that you can sign up for. That will definitely help drive more action on the profile. You can also point people to your featured section and say, hey, you can sign up there because you do have, ideally you have one of them, but it's easier to do a click there as opposed to here people wondering like, oh, growth letter, wait, where do I get that? LinkedIn newsletter. Okay, I kind of know LinkedIn as a newsletter, but like, where do I sign up for this newsletter? You want to basically capitalize on the people's attention when they're here in your profile and make it really easy for them to know where they need to go to follow through with the call to action. One of those last things is experience section. I would definitely add some descriptions. The reason for that is because we want to know kind of in more detail, like what's your experience, like what do you do in each role, what have you done, especially when these are all present roles. Like you have a really nice description here. I would, after 60 sessions and counting, I love that. I would add more detail here. The other thing I would do is I would attach skills to each experience section. This is something that was recently implemented in LinkedIn. The reason that I'm saying all this is because you want to fill out your profile as much as possible, because the more information there is on your profile, the more keywords are on your profile, and the more data there is to be searched through the profile. Second reason is more filled out profiles tend to perform better because there's just more information for things to be pulled up in the search results. And I think LinkedIn used to have this thing called all-star profiles. I don't think they advertise it anymore, but I'm pretty sure they measure the strength of your profile based on how much information you filled out on the profile. It might impact like your social selling index or something like that. So I always say like add as much detail as possible. The third reason is you want to be using LinkedIn's latest features. So for example, if they implemented the ability to attach skills to your different experience sections, use that to add more, to basically use the latest features on LinkedIn. Then LinkedIn will like you and hopefully push your profile more. That's just the nature of social media platforms. We should be using all the new features so that we appease the social media gods, and then they give us better engagement and better performance on our accounts. But yeah, so that's all I got. I hope this is helpful. I think that this is definitely like a strong profile as it is. These are just things that you could do to take it to the next level and hopefully book more clients before the end of 2022, if not definitely in 2023. So, wishing you the best of luck, Tim. Thanks so much for volunteering your profile. And I'm hoping you a very happy holiday season. And hopefully, your move was good. I'm excited to hear more about your recent move. All right. Cheers.